Hey everyone, I'm Kolz. I'm a Masters level TFT player over the past 3 or 4 sets I've played. Today I'll show you a SLAYER line I ended up running in PBE for set 16. Alright, so early in the game, I'm focusing mainly on hitting my econ thresholds of 10 gold and getting any pairs I can from the shop. I also typically like to focus from the front to the back. That means looking for tanks first and then looking for damage dealers afterwards. So this early on, I'm looking to hold tanks and maybe play through something like Warden or Juggernaut. After hitting this many Lulus, I thought maybe Yordles might be in play. I'm still learning how this set works, and so I'll be checking things throughout the match. Based on the item combination here, you're looking for some kind of AP carry. I wasn't a particular fan of this item set, so slamming wasn't in the cards for me, and I don't know enough about this set to play Earth for spreading roots. So I thought maybe portable artifacts, but let's just go Gold Destiny. Now, the best thing about Gold Destiny is actually the extra gold it gives you, because that'll let you hit your econ thresholds early, particularly 10 gold in stage 2-1. Hitting gold this early is really important for snowballing later, so make sure that you hit 10 gold as often as you can during stage 2-1. At this point, I'm thinking Evoker is probably what I'm going to be playing. I have 2 in the backline, and I have really good items for Evoker. The problem is, I got Treasure Hunt, and I've never actually played Treasure Hunt before, so I'm trying to figure out how it works. And spoiler alert, I don't play it very well. But honestly, that 3 gold is what's going to carry me through here no matter what the augment is, because hitting 10 gold was super important. At this point, I thought Yordles might be in play because I have 6 already. A little hedge here, I slam the tier onto Lulu, hoping to kill maybe 1 unit. It gives you mana regen, and is actually not bad for just a component. Although, I don't really have enough items here to win a fight. I was hoping just to kill a unit. Now, the encounter in this particular game pushed all the augments up to really quickly. And as I'm still trying to learn the units, I'm trying to simplify my augment choices. Spear's Will isn't great because I have a lot of AP items. Lifting competition might work, but I don't have any bruisers. Spirit of Redemption's not bad. And again, Cooking Pot gives me more spatulas that I don't really know how to use. I probably could have gone with Spirit of Redemption here, but I roll it into 2-trick, and I just hit all of these Yasuos. So it gives me 3 from the 2-trick, and I have 1 in shop. And so I'm going to have to hard pivot now to something around Ionia and YASUO. Now, I realize, kind of spur of the moment, that Yasuo is played as a reroll comp, and I can activate Bard to help me in those rerolls because I don't have any reroll augments, and I gotta try and get Yasuo up to 3 stars. Unfortunately, I'm still new to this set, and I should have played Bard over Rumble, but I just wasn't quick enough. And my actions per minute are just way too slow. I am such a boomer that there's no way I was going to be able to do that realistically anyway. But playing Bard over Rumble was the better play here, just to start building up extra rolls. But that augment basically forces me into playing some kind of Yasuo comp. Now, the good thing about losing this hard is I get first pick on the carousel. And lo and behold, Yasuo is holding a sword, which doesn't get much better than that. Because I'll build it right into Bloodthirster, and I'll have up to 5 Yasuos. Basically all natural at this point. I natural another Yasuo at this point, which is pretty nuts. And I'm just trying to understand how Bard works, so I'm going to play him to see if it's worth the value. You have to roll 8 times before 2-3 in order to activate Bard, which costs you 8 very early gold, which can set you back tremendously in your econ. So it's pretty risky, but my thought is I will get enough rerolls from Bard that the econ will even out later when I need to roll for Yasuo. Now, I don't know if that math actually works, but it's what I went with in this game. It's higher risk, higher reward, as you're going to be generating gold from basically Bard's rerolls and from his units that he throws out at you. Now, the third augment comes quick. I can't take Raining Gold because I already have Econ in the form of 2-trick. At this point, I'm debating between Blood Offering and Warlord's Honor. And I go with Warlord's Honor because I'm going to have my units on the board now in the late game, and so it's worth buffing them up. YASUO is here to stay, and Shen and Xin Zhao will be here for a while too. So I'll be able to get them all the way buffed up. Now, I hit another YASUO in the shot. So I'm at 7 YASUOs, basically all natural at this point, which is crazy. So leveling up here was the wrong move on so many levels. First off, I didn't need to use that gold. I was going to win this fight no matter what. Second off, I had that treasure on augment that requires you to reroll. And I didn't even know what the heck was going on at this point because I had gotten all these other augments. I forgot about that original one. I should have saved my gold for 2-7 in order to roll for that 20 chest. You only get to open 1 chest per stage, so you want to roll 20 before the end of the second stage. Not to mention, I didn't actually want to win that last fight. I would have had a 5 loss streak going into neutrals, which would have given me significantly more gold. So leveling there was just the totally wrong play. But it happens. Now at this point, I'm just getting thrown more AP items and more YASUOs. No matter what, this game is going to give me YASUO 3. So that changes my mindset on leveling and rolling going forward. I figure at this point, I'm going to hit this guy, it's just a matter of when. Then that's a high roll Wukong. So Ionia all the way. At this point, I realized that Ionia gives you additional gold for any Ionia units that kill things. So I need to start focusing on Ionia and having my YASUO actually killing units. Now, I also should have put Morello on YASUO. Now, I know YASUO doesn't use Morellos all that well, but it's better to have all the items on one unit than split up between 2. And YASUO is my carry, so just put all the items on him. Looking forward now, I know that YASUO is going to get 3 stars, which means that I'm going to get Yone. And I get bailed out by the fact that Yone's actually like a split damage carry, and he can handle all these AP items that I'm getting. It must be done. You're seeing a little bit of the power of Bard in that he was able to 2-star my Shen for me, but on a different level, he's also just throwing gold at you. He's throwing 1 or 2 gold at you each level, which makes up for the fact that you had to waste 8 gold super early in order to get him. Now at this point, I'm just trying to play strongest board, and a 2-star 2 cost is usually worth playing no matter what this early in the game. Well, I made a whole bunch of mistakes in stage 2 as I was learning and trying to figure out what the heck was going on. I'm starting to settle down a little bit here and playing my strongest board and starting to win out as Ionia starts generating gold. That's going to be super important for later in the game. So I'm not sure my Bard experiment actually played out well, but I'm pretty happy with how Ionia is going and the fact that I'm just high rolling these Wukongs out of nowhere. I'm going to have a massive power spike soon when I hit YASUO 3-star and then can play Yone right afterwards. Because they're both Slayers and they synergize well together, I'm going to be able to play 5 Ionia with really strong synergies and a really strong mid game. The one problem I have here is just that my items are really AP focused, and I thought YASUO and Yone were AD champions, and they are, but I learned by accident that while Yone does physical damage, his abilities scale off AP items tremendously well, which makes him a nice holder of all of these AP items I'm getting. On this carousel, I just get magically gifted YASUO 3. So I didn't have to roll at all in order to hit this guy, which is tremendously lucky. But it also screwed up my treasure hunt, and I'm just not activating any of these chests. At this point, I'm so happy to have YASUO that I've totally forgotten about that treasure hunt. You can also see the power of Bard here in that he's helped to star up 2 of my units. Going from 1 to 2-star units early in the game is a tremendous power spike. Now, it might not seem like a lot, but they all get additional health and they do additional damage. And just casting like 1 additional time can actually make the big difference in a fight. And so I think this Bard investment is actually paying off because I never naturaled that Shen or that Briar, but now I have them at 2-star. And you can see here, this is going to be an incredibly close fight. And having them at 2-star instead of 1-star almost made the difference. I think a 3-6 Yone is really early. And it spikes my board tremendously here. So I can go from playing 4 Ionia to 5 with Bard. And I'm going to start printing gold. And here's where I learned that Yone actually has a whole bunch of AP scaling in his kit. And so I'm going to go ham on adding all the AP items onto Yone. Not to mention he's got some AoE, and so that Morello will work really well on him. Up until this point, YASUO should have had that Morello on him, just because it's better to have more items on one unit. But now that I see that Yone has AP scaling, he's going to get all these AP combo items. And now I'm just printing gold with Ionia. My 5 Ionia power spike with Yone at 3-6 is huge. It's unfortunate to lose that last fight to the 2-star Jinx, but it is what it is. I learned in that moment that Kennen was also Ionian, and he's actually a really good unit. He's back from like Keeper's Kennen with a AoE stun that makes a tremendous difference, and with the right positioning can actually help you throw a fight in your direction. He's a really strong 3 cost in my opinion. This round of neutrals just continues to give me more and more AP items. But I get an Edge of Night and a Hand of Justice, which are near perfect items for YASUO, and I get really strong items for Yone.
Brother, our paths cross once again. Will our swords do the same?
Side once more, Inara.
And now, while I continue to only have 2 items on YASUO, I do have 3 items on Yone. So I'm not playing this game totally perfectly, but it is working out. I think it's at this point too I realized that I have this chest augment, and so during stage 4 I'm actually going to start rolling to try and unlock some of these chests. I realized afterwards that I should have 3 items on YASUO, and so I make the switch back to having 3 items on him. There are so many magnetic removers in this set that when you see if you screwed up an item set or item combination, just use your remover and fix your items. There's no point in having extra ones left at the end of the game. Use all the resources the game gives you. I put Bard back in here just to cheese for some more gold or some more rerolls, but you can see Ionia is now starting to drop a whole ton of gold because I have so many Ionia units getting these takedowns. I don't entirely know how Bard works. It says a random unit from Ruterra, but it seems to drop units from your board, and I'm hoping that maybe he can start dropping 4 costs. Aatrox here is just a great unit. And at this point in my head, I'm thinking I'm probably going to go for Slayer, because I'll have Aatrox, Yone, and YASUO as my main carries, and buffing them up together should work out pretty well. I also realized I'm just in a great spot to get set. If I play a single frontliner, I can get set for my 7 Ionia and swap out something like Xin Zhao or Jin. I can swap out something like Xin Zhao or Jin. I don't know Ionia well enough to know that I should be playing Kennen right now over Xin Zhao, and I should have set up my board to get set earlier, but learning as you're going is the way you get better. Now, I didn't play this game tremendously well, but I high-rolled YASUO and Wukong and eventually made a board that was just focused around Ionia and Slayers. If you can simplify any aspect of the game when there's so much to think about, it can really help you progress. At this point, I'm looking to finish off a Yone item, or start looking to build Aatrox items, as I'm foregoing any semblance of a tank here for pure DPS.
Feed the void.
At this point, with 4 Slayers, I'm realizing I can go down to 5 Ionia, start playing a strongest board around them. I'm still greeding for Bard pretty late into the game here, but my board is so strong and I have so much health that it's worth the greed in my opinion. One little thing, that snapshot tool in the team builder is actually really helpful. I picked that up from watching some other players play, and it'll help you a lot when you're just trying to figure out which units to roll for. Now, I'm rolling now and not on neutrals because I just remembered I had that treasure chest augment, and I have no idea how it works.
Embrace the cosmos.
At this point, I'm thinking this is basically my board. I want to get a better bruiser in than Shen, and I realize I want to play Set, so I have to figure out how to get him activated.
Ice.
My forge is my home.
At that point, I'm rolling for Yone 2 to cap out the board as it is now, and also to try and hit this treasure chest thing that I still don't totally understand. This guy's got an Ace already and an Annie too, but you can see here that Yone now is starting to carry. And look at all that AP damage he does, magic damage he does. Just really wasn't expecting that to be the case. But I got super lucky. I have a random Ornn pair. He doesn't really fit on this board at all, and it's at this point now where I recognize that I should have been playing set. So someone's going to be up in the front line. I think I actually end up going with YASUO up there and hoping the Edge of Night will save him from imminent doom. You can also see there on the Ionia that I farmed a whole ton of gold from that Ionia trait. This is actually my favorite Ionia trait, this one and the XP one. Anything with like little hidden XP and gold advantages I feel like is super strong. And at this point, I'm pretty happy with my board. I have anti-heal on Yone, I have armor pen on Bel'Veth, and my YASUO is just popping off. I have so many carries that it doesn't really matter that I don't have any frontline.
Mama always said I had her temper.
I'm pretty much stun locked on this round, and I don't get any of my units up front. And I don't have the actions per minute again to make it happen, even if I really wanted to there. But I did unlock another chest for some reason, and apparently it's not just one per stage. They do save up, and so I could have just rolled like a normal human being and not waste all my rolls. And this fight ends up working out because my board is so strong. And you can see there, I grabbed three more gold from Ionia. To round out my synergies here, I end up putting Kabuko in for Shen and Set in. And at this point, I could probably think about trying to activate Rise. Although, my team is pretty strong as it is. And that's what I'm trying to understand, how that chest actually works. And I still don't totally understand, but I'm pretty sure that it unlocks one chest per stage that you can open at any point. So you don't have to roll like a monkey. You can roll when appropriate, and you'll have those chests available for you. Now, positioning here with like this many frontliners doesn't make total sense, but I'm trying to go tank damage, tank damage. The way they updated the game in set 15, opponents will prioritize attacking tanks instead of attacking your damage fed dealers. So you can have damage dealers in the front line, like Yone and YASUO, as long as they're next to a tank, because the opponent should favor hitting the tanks instead of your damage. And now I'm just looking to cap out my board with an Aatrox 2 and a set 2. This is pretty much the board I'm going to be playing. I could, in theory, be playing something like Rise over... Playing something like Rise over Taric probably makes sense. Maybe Bel'Veth 3 here. So Bel'Veth 3 becomes an option here. Maybe Wukong 3. That's kind of what I'm thinking as I roll down. And I also hit my next chest. Again, I don't know how these chests work. I think I sold my Bel'Veth. Guess I'm not playing Bel'Veth 3. Set 2, Aatrox 2, and I'm pretty much capped out. And at this point, I'm going to move my items off of Bel'Veth onto Aatrox, because he's the stronger Slayer. It may have made more sense to put Last Whisper on Aatrox, because I think he has somewhat of an AoE in his skill set. And again, I should be trying to focus on positioning a little bit better here. Now, I'm not exactly sure where you want set, either hitting Tahm Kench or hitting Nautilus, but I also realized that Kennen's pretty strong here, and that they seem to clump up a bunch, and his AoE stun will do some work, so if I can position Kennen in front of their big clump, that would also be great. And I aim for the right side here, and I don't know the entirely right setup. So, Aatrox 2 beats Aatrox 1, I win 14 in a row, and take first place with this YASUO 3-star Slayer build. And I'm Kolz, a Masters level TFT player. I've been playing since set 1. And while I can't help you get the Challenger, I can help you get unstuck from wherever your heart's stuck. Please like and subscribe if you like the content, and keep up the grind.